So there's this huge change happening in marketing and consumer behavior and just how brands should be reaching their target customer. And it's one that I'm not seeing people talk about as often as they should. Like, for whatever reason, I think a lot of brands and brand marketers are sort of stuck in what worked 5, honestly, even 10 years ago when it comes to how they market on social media, how they reach their consumer, how they become a part of that consumer's life. The shifts that I'm seeing from the consumer side, from how they behave and what they want to see, brands just have not caught up. If you as a brand marketer are willing to embrace it and pursue it and roll it out in your company, you're going to have outsized benefit. The shift that I'm seeing in how people consume is sort of happening in 3 parts. And then from there, once we've talked through the 3 different parts, I want to break down what I think you should be doing in order to sort of take advantage of this. So the first part is that historically, brands focus sort of exclusively on like their persona, right? Their avatar, their persona, their niche, whatever you want to call it. And that can be useful. There is a lot of value in that. Obviously, billion-dollar brands have been built off of that model. But something I'm noticing amongst consumers that could sort of be a cheat code for reaching them is more and more people are like deep fans for something. Like more and more people are part of what I call fan communities. So these are your video gamers, these are your anime fans, these are your Swifties, these are the people who are into Marvel, baseball. Like there is a thing that they are like a raving fan for. And I want to be clear. In my mind, there is a clear distinction between somebody likes something, which is typically what a persona tracks, and somebody is a fan of something. Like being a fan, being in a fan community for something is a whole different beast. It's a whole different level of loyalty, of engagement, of community and sense of place. And that's the thing that fan communities offer to individuals, is a sense of place, a way to connect with other people who are just as nerdy about this niche thing as you are. One of the reasons we're starting to see more and more people belong to fan communities is because over the last 10, 15 years, platforms like Disney, platforms like Netflix, they've all leaned heavily into taking IP like Marvel, like Star Wars, and making it cool, making it something that the average person can consume and love. And you had a generation of kids growing up on the superhero story, the journey, the rags to riches. Like you had a generation of people growing up attached to the characters that they saw on the screen. And this was how they made friends. And we're seeing that those things, because they've been made palatable for the average adult, through Disney, through the Marvel universe, through the Star Wars universe, through Taylor Swift, we're starting to see that more and more people in their adult life are acting the same way. They are connecting with other people based on the fan communities that they're a part of. Your customer is a fan of something. I think one of the things that people miss when they look at fan communities is they think, oh, well, we don't want to target gamers, or we don't want to target anime fans, so there's no value for us there. And I think that's exactly backwards. Like I think how you should be viewing it as a brand marketer is that your existing customer happens to be a gamer, happens to be an anime fan, happens to be a Marvel fan, right? Your customer, like start with the customer. They are a fan of something. And you as a brand marketer, if you can connect with that, you've got unlimited access to this person. Which brings me to the second big shift. So something I've noticed amongst the brands that are looking at fan communities is that they enter the community in a way that feels exploitative. Like it feels like you're trying to get my money, rather than feeling like you're trying to support and uplift this community. And I think a big part of this is the term authentic has become like a commonly used phrase that doesn't really mean anything, let's be honest. And so from a brand perspective, they enter a community and their goal is to be authentic to that community. right? And so they look at the characters, they maybe make a new product, they do something that feels like it's a part of the community. But there's a difference between being authentic and being supportive. When you are supportive to a community, you are uplifting them. You are positioning your brand as a platform for that community to grow from, for that community to get opportunities they didn't know they could get from, as opposed to, I'm going to be quote unquote authentic to this community by making a product that utilizes the IP they care about. Like, those are two different things. Being supportive of a community is the only way to actually enter that community. If a brand can do that, they will welcome you with open arms, and they will spend an enormous amount of money with you without you even asking, because you become the brand of that fan community. The third big shift that I'm noticing is on social media specifically. So your YouTubes, Instagram, TikToks, doesn't matter if it's short or long form. Something I'm noticing from consumers is that they look at accounts as shows, not channels. Now, here's the distinction between those two things. A show is a single series, the same exact video over and over and over and over again. Some things change, the story changes from episode to episode, but when a person lands on an account on any platform, if there was a video that got them there, they are expecting to find that exact series everywhere. Now, in the past, about 10, 15 years ago, we saw the total opposite. We saw that channels existed to host multiple series, multiple different videos, multiple topics. Now, of course, you still had to be niche, but the goal of a channel was to be your home base where you could share anything you want. And we're just not seeing that anymore. And so what that means, if we take it to the logical extreme, is that if you have multiple different types of content you want your team to make, you should actually consider a multi-channel approach to that. Like, you should be thinking about, how do we create a single show that has its own home base, and that's the only thing we publish there, and then have a separate channel for this other series that we want to do, and a separate channel for this third series we want to do. One of the things that is fundamentally shifting about the algorithms on different platforms is that we went from a follower graph, a follower based system, meaning you follow this account, you are likely to get their content. If you are the creator or the brand and you have a bunch of followers, they are likely to get your content. After TikTok blew up and short form became a massive part of the conversation, we switched to an interest graph, meaning if you follow someone, it doesn't actually mean all that much, because the content you are actually seeing is focused on what you are interested in, what you have shown interest in. And so you're getting way more content from accounts you have not followed. In a follower-driven model, they follow your account, they want to see all the stuff you make. And so this is the home base of all the stuff. In an interest-driven model, it's a show, because there's one specific video that came across that person's feed, one specific video that got you in front of them, and they want to see more of that one specific video. Now, let's talk about how you as a brand marketer can actually take advantage of this, because with every shift means opportunity. It means that if you can move faster than your competitor, you're going to reap the benefits. So, number one, you need to start spending time identifying your customers' existing fan community. Like, the thing they are already a huge fan of. And, maybe not every customer is going to have one, but a good percentage will. Now, it could be anything. It could be Marvel, could be anime, could be video games, could be any of the nerdy stuff, or it could be the Taylor Swift, or it could be wine, or it could be baseball cards, or it could be sports. Find the communities that they're already a part of. Let's say it's Marvel. So your customer is a huge fan of Iron Man specifically. Horrible example because he doesn't exist anymore, but let's stick with it. So your customer is a huge fan of Marvel. From there, you need to think about, what is the branded show that we can create to speak to the people who are huge fans of Marvel, right? Now, let's say you are Hilton Hotels and you're looking into reaching your target customer through their fandom communities, right? They're huge fans of Marvel, so you're internally trying to figure out, okay, what is the branded show? How do we make a show, which again is an account? How do we make a new account /show that is focused on appealing to this person and is owned by Hilton. One idea is to, of course, just lean into the idea of travel, the idea of experiencing new locations. And so you could make a recurring series on Instagram or on YouTube where somebody dives into all the different locations that exist in the different Marvel films. Like, find a creator who's already interested in these things, who can talk to a camera and build a show for that person that ties into your brand message. If you're Hilton Hotels and you're really focused on getting people to go to different areas of the world and experience those different areas of the world, you can use that message as part of how you reach these fan communities. You just have to build a show around that. And again, a show is an account. So that means instead of posting this to the Hilton Instagram, you are creating a new channel. You are creating Locations in Marvel. It's a horrible name. Don't use that. But you're creating a new channel that is just for that show. And then you are launching the show, you're publishing regularly, and on the page or on the screen, little Hilton logo, produced by Hilton. Brands are still focused heavily on treating their accounts like channels. And in a situation where followers don't really matter, people aren't signing up to get all of your content. They want one specific thing that got them there. It's the wrong move. So your job is to recognize who your customers are. You've already done that work. That's why you're a successful brand. But more specifically, what are the things they are deep, loyal fans of? Learn the world that exists around that thing by being supportive of it, by entering it and allowing it to thrive because you are there. And then create a show for social media on any platform that appeals directly to those communities. Not only are you going to surprise and delight the specific customers that you already have who are fans of that thing, you're also going to find people who are exactly like those customers. Honestly, it's one of the cheapest ways I can think of to make content work for your brand. So if you're not doing this already, I suggest you do.